Welcome back. Let's explore Hello World program in Spark Shell. So let me open command and do Spark Shell. It takes some time to open Spark Shell. Let's wait for that and it's done. So we have successfully loaded Spark. uh, let's see two things here. First, uh, Spark context is available as SC and Spark session is available as Spark. So I want you to know what this means, and should we use that or do we need to use that, or what do they actually mean. So Spark session is something that will represent this particular session of Spark that is running. Earlier, before Spark 2, there used to be a different context for Spark, and there used to be different SQL context and Hive context, something like that. And Spark unifies them all and available as Spark session. I'll be using Spark session. That was brief intro. You can go ahead and look in more detail. uh, let's see a Hello World program first. This is Scala Shell. Spark Shell is also Scala Shell because everything this Spark was built on top of Scala, and like you can whatever code I'll be writing here is Scala. Spark is a framework that can be used to process this like the big data. uh, if I had to write Hello World program in Scala, it would be very simple, something like print ln and hello Scala, and now I'm done. So let's see how that can be done in Spark. So there may be many ways to do it. The one I prefer is reading a file. Let's see a simple one. Let's close this, Control D to quit it. Create a folder, hello Spark Shell, and cd hello and let me create a file .txt, hello spark.txt. Yes, please create it for me. Hello Spark and exclamation mark. Save it and close it. Now let me see if it was saved. Type hello spark.txt. Yes, it is saved. And let me open Spark Shell once again to see the text file we have created. And now the Spark session is available. Let me do something like spark dot read dot text. We wrote a text file, and hello spark dot txt. Let's see what happens. It's trying to read the file, and it created something like a res0 with org.apache.spark.sql.data frame, and it says value and string. So what does this mean? Let's see when I type something like 5 or hello. This is a property of Scala cell, like the Scala REPL, that when we write one expression and don't assign it to any variable, it will by default assign it to variables in increasing order, res 0, res 1, res 2, something like that. But if we do println hello, so that's a statement, that's not an expression. It won't assign it to anything, it will just print that thing as hello. So what we got from reading this hello spark.txt is we got something of type data frame, similar to what we have got here in int, and we'll see about this value string later. Let's see what we can do with it. Res 0 dot, so or let's do something else. We can also go ahead and assign it to some variable val hello equals, and we got our variable hello dot, so oh no, yeah, hello dot so it's reading, and now we have got something value and hello spark. So why do we see it like this, and what is this value here? So if in Spark there are generally three things that would be nice to know, that is RDD, data frame, and data set. RDD is resilient distributed data sets that used to be the primary API when Spark came out. It has very low level operations and quite powerful, and it did miracles, but like to use such power of the RDDs, people had to learn a new complex thing, that is RDD itself and Spark. What they did later is they simplified it a lot and added some more optimization and created data frames and data sets. It provides the same power with simplified use. So it has some SQL like structures and operations, and what you can see here is a data frame which you can relate it to some SQL or any other database table. So data frame is some distributed collection of data organized into columns. So the column name here is value, and you have only one row, that is hello spark. And that's it. The whole data set then resides in memory, so it's also distributed. You can create a lot of nodes and then have um, uh, allocate some memory to each of those nodes, and this data frame especially sits in memory when you try to process them, so that will open up the possibility to compute a massive amount of data efficiently. So we'll see more operations on data sets, data frames, and all in next video. Thanks for watching.